Hello there guys and welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to another video. Now of course I do apologize for not making a match preview, had some technical difficulties but don't worry, at the end of this video I'll be taking a little preview of the Chelsea defeat against Juventus last night in Turin. So that's why I'm going to spend half a minute doing the prediction, review my prediction, then half minutes talking about the Chelsea game. I mean, yeah, it was so disappointing. So I do apologize, but don't worry. At the end of this video, I'll give a little preview, and then then in the next video, I'll be able to do the predictions on Matchday 7 that's happening this weekend. So yeah. So that's why I'm going to go through my predictions quickly. So first of all, let's start off with Chelsea against Man City. In the third, of course, that's the first game of match day 6. So I predicted 1-0 Chelsea, but the actual result was 1-0 to City, so I got 0 points. I mean, Chelsea was absolutely awful in that game. I mean, Thomas Tuchel changed the tactic to a 3-5-2. That didn't work. I think Lukaku and Timo Werner up top, I don't think that was the right solution. Yeah, City dominated. Pep Guardiola still using that 4-3-3 and it worked. Gabriel Jesus scored the only goal. Could have been more, but we have to thank Mendy for the saves, and I think it was Thiago Silva that cleared off the ball, to prevent it from making it more than 1-0. So yeah, even though it's a bit disappointing performance, at least our defending is still there. It's just the performance had to improve, but it didn't. So yeah, but then when Ruben Loftus-Cheek came on, we looked absolutely brilliant. I mean, I just don't get that. Whenever Chelsea do poor in the first half, we always seem to do better in the second half. Well, up until that Gabriel Jesus goal, we always seem to have threats. I mean, Lukaku's goal was choked off because Kai Havertz was offside. So yeah, unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be. So yeah, Man City went there, got the revenge because the Champions League final defeat to Chelsea. So yeah, it ended 1-0 to City. Oh, sorry about that, guys. I'll get to him in just a minute. The next game, of course, was Aston Villa against United. Now, in this game, I predicted a 1-1 because facing Aston Villa are a really good team. They want to perhaps be in Europe. Because last season they couldn't manage to do that, but this season they want to try to be perhaps in the top 7 since the Conference League as introduced this year. So yeah, but it ended 1-0. And the disappointing thing is that if Bruno Fernandes would have scored that penalty, then it would have ended 1-1 and I would have gotten 3 points. But yeah, I mean, from now on, I think people should realize that Ronaldo should be taking penalties because I think I think he's only missed one in his career. I'm not sure. Tell me if I'm. Let me know in the comments down below how many penalties Ronaldo misses in his career. But I remember there was one, and that was when Portugal faced Republic of Ireland. That's the only time I can remember that Ronaldo missed a penalty. But that's the only one time. If there was more, let me guys know in the comments down below. But I think Ronaldo should be taking penalties from now on rather than Bruno Fernandes because I know Bruno Fernandes is the main penalty taker, but I think Ronaldo from now on should be taking penalties for United. Since Manchester United signed him during the transfer window in August this year. So yeah, but 1-0 to Villa in the 88th minute. It was that number 20 who scored it. I mean, after Manchester United had so many chances, but yeah, it wasn't meant to be for them. But as you saw in my live watch along, Ronaldo scored the last winner against Villarreal that gives them hope for the knockout stages. So yeah, Ronaldo was the hero in that game. But this is only the Premier League. But yeah, I'm hoping um, that only will get the tactics right and make sure that United will be title contenders. And the only reason why I said that is because Chelsea has 2 losses in a row. So yeah, but we'll get into Chelsea in just a minute. The next game, of course, was Leicester City against Burnley. Now I went for Leicester City win because Burnley are looking for their first win, and but the actual result was actually 2-2, and Jamie Vardy scored 3 goals. Two, of course, for Leicester City, and an own goal that led Burnley to lead 1-0. I mean, Burnley came to the King Power Stadium knowing that if they win, they'll be out of the relegation zone. But since they've only got a point, they're still in the relegation zone. They are in like say 18th place behind above Newcastle, I think. Yeah. So Burnley are just in 18th place. Burnley still need to get a win. They have to get a win. But for Leicester City, they're in absolute turmoil. Absolute turmoil. I feel like this season could be the worst season under um I forgot the manager's name, sorry. Rodgers, yeah. Rodgers under Brendan Rodgers, they could be the worst season. I thought they're the team who can challenge for the top four, but it looks like they're not doing it. So yeah, it's not really working for Leicester City. But I think they will pick up points. I think they will. The next game, of course, was Everton against Norwich City. Now, Norwich City are looking for the first win, but after 6 games, they just couldn't manage to beat Everton. I mean, they had chances, but Everton, they just, they just, they just, they just know what they're doing. I mean, after that best game against what was it, Burnley, I knew that they will beat Norwich City comfortably because whenever Norwich City do one in the Championship, when it comes to the Premier League, they're always in 20th place. They just don't seem to have that that mentality when it comes to the Premier League because of course it's in tier one, it's the best league in England, but they just always do badly. They just doesn't seem to be like West Brom because remember on the last day when Chelsea won their first Premier League, they managed to stay up after winning. And they've lost so many games, but they managed to pick up 3 points. A couple of 3 points. But Norwich City, they just don't seem to do that. That's why I fear for them. That's why I fear for them. So far, I've got 1 point because the Everton win. Yeah, I've got 1 point so far in on match day 6. The next game, of course, was West Ham against Leeds. Now, of course, I went for a West Ham win because Leeds United still looking for their first win, but couldn't manage to do that. I would have thought that West Ham would have got a clean sheet, but unfortunately they didn't. But Mikel Antonio, he's a prolific striker. I mean, he scored 5 goals in 6 games. Five, or was it 5 goals in 5 games? Sorry, yeah, because he got injured during the Southampton game, I believe. Yeah, so 5 goals in 5 games for Mikel Antonio. My God, could he win the Golden Boot? It would be amazing to see that and shocking because people would have thought that Ronaldo would get the Golden Boot, but it looks like Mikel Antonio so far is in first place when it comes to the most goals so far. So yeah, West Ham has signed a prolific striker. They really did. So the next game was Newcastle against West Watford. Now Newcastle, of course, still looking for the first win. I mean, that's like Leeds United, Burnley, Norwich City, Newcastle. All these teams here could only two of them can stay up, and two of them could be relegated. I mean, I fear for them team, I really do. But yeah, I went for 2-1, and guess what? If Martin Saar wasn't offside, then I would have gotten 3 points. I would have got 3 points. So yeah, so disappointed not to see Watford not goal disallowed in the last minute of the game. Um, so yeah, Newcastle they're just awful, absolutely awful. So I got 0 points. So far I got two. And when I look at the results, I know that this would be my worst one ever. The worst points I've ever had. Well, not 0 points overall, but just not beating 11 points like I did in match day 9. So yeah, the next game was a very, very good game, of course, a 6-goal thriller between Brentford and Liverpool. Now I thought Liverpool are going to win because they've got the likes of Mo Salah, Sadio Mane, Alexander Arnold, but Virgil van Dijk's performance was absolutely terrible. I mean, he was absolutely terrible, Virgil van Dijk. That could be one of the worst performances of his career. I mean, I just don't get it. I really don't get it. I mean, Brentford, um, of course, Ivan Toney was so angry that the goal was disallowed because it could have been 4-3, but rightly so, Ivan Toney was offside by VAR. So unfortunately, they had to cancel that. But that's a good game, And Brentford, I did say that I think they're the team who are going to definitely stay up this season if they can continue like this. Against Arsenal, they beat them. Against Liverpool, they drew the game. Did they face Tottenham? No, no, no. So they faced. So when it comes to Brentford, when it comes to Big Six at home, they managed to perform really well. But away from home, it's going to be a struggle for Brentford. But the way they managed to to let this game be a draw, it was really good for them. And I think Brentford will stay up. I don't think they're the team to get relegated because Thomas Frank is really doing well as a Brentford manager. He really is. So yeah. Whereas for Liverpool, they're still in first place, but couldn't manage to get 16 points out of the six games, you know. But they're still unbeaten, Liverpool. They're still the only team to be unbeaten. So let's move on into Southampton against Wolves. Now, I predicted a 2-1 win against Wolves because I thought Southampton will score first and then Wolves will make a comeback. But that didn't happen. I mean, Wolves managed to keep a clean sheet, and guess who scored? Wow, Jimenez. I was so happy, and that goal from him was absolutely fantastic. It came from the goalkeeper, their new goalkeeper. He passed straight into Jimenez. Jimenez just one through all the defenders and then boom straight into the back of the net. And I was so happy for him because that was the first goal since October last year, you know. And then when Arsenal faced against Wolves, it was head collision injury between David Luiz and Raul Jimenez. So we all thought that Raul Jimenez for like a year is gonna be of a head injury. But to see him score against Southampton, that was absolutely brilliant. So I was so happy for Raul Jimenez, and Wolves fans were so happy as well. So he is back for Wolves. He is back. So yeah, really, really happy for him. So far I've got 3 points for because I predicted a 2-1 win. So I've got a 1 point. So that means I got 3 points. The next game, of course, was the North London derby. Now I was supposed to be doing that, but I was excuse me. I had a conversation with someone who I didn't know, and that's why I had to sort things out with my mom. So yeah, that's why I couldn't be able to do a live watch now. But yeah, I saw the highlights and Arsenal. Oh my God, they were just they were just running wide, especially in the first half. In the second half, Tottenham managed to do really well, but just couldn't find the answer. You know, that was I think that was the best first half performance on the Mikel Arteta, you know, especially when it comes to the Emirates, you know, and that's why I went for an Arsenal win, but I went for 2-1 rather than 3-1 is because I thought that maybe Tottenham will score first and then Arsenal will score 2 goals and then win the game. But that didn't happen. When they score first, they seem to manage to continue this brilliant performance and manage to destroy Tottenham in the first half. You know, and Harry Kane, you know, he has been absolutely awful this season. Awful. I think he now realizes that he would rather be the striker for Man City than Tottenham because Tottenham, after 3 games, before the international break, which was all wins and clean sheet, they seem to manage to decline now. And Arsenal, having going to the bottom of the league to now be above Spurs, is absolutely fantastic, you know. So yeah, I felt bad for Tottenham. And Nuno, I don't think he's the answer for Spurs. You know, I don't think he can deliver a trophy and perhaps being in the top four. You know, so yeah, Nuno, the wages cost his hands, cost his arms. That tells you everything. That he doesn't care. He doesn't want Tottenham to win this game, and he doesn't care. He really doesn't care. That tells you everything. But for Arsenal, well done. Well done. The big question is, will Mikel Arteta stay? I don't know. I'm not an Arsenal fan, I'm a Chelsea fan. But I think some fans want if Mick since we're nearly in October, if Arsenal can get wins after wins after wins from the winnable games, then yes, Mikel Arteta who seemed to be the manager who can make Arsenal get back to Europe, you know. So yeah. But as for Tottenham, this season could be worse for them if Nuno stays, in my opinion. So yeah, 4 points so far since I predicted a 2-1 Arsenal win. The last game, of course, was Crystal Palace against Brighton. Now, unfortunately, thank God that I went for a that But just thank God that this game ended 1-1 because I tell you, if Brighton win, they would be top of the table on 15 points. Just imagine. Top of the Premier League table, just like Southampton when they beat Liverpool 1-0, they were on top of the table. And I tell you, like somebody said, anything can happen. They could be shocked. Absolutely shocked. I mean, Crystal Palace fought. They fought and they fought that they would have managed to get 3 points against their fiercest rivals, but Neil Maupay scored in the last minute. So yeah, unfortunately for Crystal Palace, they just couldn't manage to hold on to the lead to 1-0 and get the 3 points. I mean, Brighton in the second half was better in the first half, but Crystal Palace did defend well. But up until that equaliser, the fans were heartbroken. Even Patrick Vieira couldn't believe it. But Graham Potter and the Brighton fans were absolutely crazy. And yeah, but Brighton are the exact same points as Chelsea, Man United, City, and Everton. So yeah, Brighton, are still in the top seven. But yeah, I mean Brighton this season under Graham Potter is absolutely it's just make everyone shocked. I mean, I thought Brighton was struggling against Leicester City and all them teams, but they just have an answer. And Graham Potter, surprisingly, just managed to be one of the greatest managers ever so far this season because Brighton are usually in below the mid-table, but now it seems to be up there. So yeah, I feel like facing Brighton could be tough for teams. It really could. It really could. Sorry about that, guys. My throat is hurt. There's something in my throat, so let me grab a drink of water, and then I'll talk about my overall points and then the actual game. Give me a couple of minutes. Right, that's better. That's better. So yeah, overall 4 points. Still, that is the lowest points I've got so far. Since I did my series on Premier League predictions. So yeah, really disappointing. But hopefully on match day 7, I can get my target is to get a couple of 3 points, beat the previous target, the most points, which is of course 11. And yeah, hopefully I'll get better and better and better as the match days go on and on and on. And remember, guys, I'll be doing this up until match 38, which is the last day. So yeah, make sure you stay tuned. And if you enjoyed this series, give it a thumbs up. Give it a thumbs up. Now, before I end this video, I'd like to talk about the Champions the League preview. And if you didn't watch the live watch along, as you can see on the screen, it ended Juventus 1, Chelsea nil. And yeah, overall, it was an absolutely embarrassing performance. Absolutely embarrassing. The performance was better, but when it comes to the final third, we just don't deliver. I think all of the players need to hang their head in shame because none of them, not even one person, was brilliant today. And the performance tells you that we need Mason Mount back, we need N'Golo Kante back, we need perhaps Christian Pulisic back, because without them, we're in deep trouble, deep trouble. I mean, I don't know what's going on with Ziyech. Kai Havertz in the second half was better, but both of them in the first half was absolutely poor. I mean, we've not seen the Ziyech that we seen last season when we signed him. I don't know what's going on with him and Kai Havertz as well. I mean, Lukaku was average today, but nobody was passing the ball to him. He's not giving the right service, and I just don't get it. I really just don't get it. Why is it that every time that we sign a striker, that there's not one player who will cross the ball into him or pass the ball to him? Why? Why? Do we want Lukaku to be like Timo Werner last season? No. We want him to score goals in every game. But if he can't, but the only way to do that is to give him service. But people are not giving him service, and I just don't get it. We just don't have that player who's like Kevin De Bruyne or perhaps some of the best players who gets the most assists. We don't have somebody who's like Cesc Fabregas. When he first came to Chelsea, he got the most assists ever, 23 assists in that season under Antonio Conte. You know that's how Diego Costa scored 20 goals is because of him. So without Cesc Fabregas, we're in deep trouble. We're in deep trouble. I just don't get it. Why can't somebody be like Cesc Fabregas? I just don't get it. I really don't. I mean, the reason why we've let Cesc Fabregas go to was it AS Monaco is because he hasn't been the same. But without it now, we're in deep trouble. I just don't get it. I really don't get it. We need someone who can be like Cesc Fabregas. Because the more we keep on doing this, the more that Chelsea potentially could not be considered as title contenders and maybe perhaps bottled it in different competitions. 2 losses in 2 games is unbelievable, and also 1 attempt on target in 2 matches. How embarrassing this is! No shots on target against City and only 1 shot on target after 16 attempts. That tells you everything about Chelsea right now. That's all these players were piss poor. All of them. Absolutely all of them. Marcus Alonso was poor. Both Jorginho and Kovacic was poor. I mean, I don't get why um Carlos Soto was playing as a number 10. I just don't get it. I really don't get it. Whenever Ruben Loftus-Cheek came on, he looked good. So I think from now on, yeah, I think Thomas Tuchel needs to change from back 3 to a back 4 and start Ruben Loftus-Cheek, perhaps in a number 10. Because right now, I don't believe in this formation anymore. Even though defensively we can be good, there's some other times in the final third where we just lack of goals. And I just don't get it. I really don't get it. I was so frustrated yesterday, and we got what we deserved. All Juventus has to do was to score a goal, defend well, let Chelsea have more possession, and then win the game. And that's how exactly what happened. 11 seconds into the second half, we conceded the first goal, and that was from Chiesa. And all of them players were sleeping. Rudiger was sleeping. Aspilicueta was sleeping. Even Christensen was sleeping when it went to that goal. That tells you everything. We were so tired. Lacking full of goals in the final third. I just don't get it. I really don't get it. It was unbelievable, man. I was so disappointed in that performance last night. And especially in the final third. We got Southampton this Saturday at afternoon at 3 p.m. at Stamford Bridge. And I tell you, if we play like that, what we did against Juventus, we're in deep trouble. We are in deep trouble. I mean, I want Chelsea to really do well. But the more we play like this, the more that we could be in trouble. And so far that we could potentially be out of the top 4. That is not our aim. Our aim here is to be to perhaps win the Premier League title, being in the top 4, and get more trophies. Whether it's the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, the whether it's the Champions League. I want Chelsea to do well. But the more we keep on doing this, the more that we're in danger. After starting doing well, we always go down and down a bit. And I don't want that to happen. I don't want this seems to be like last season, where under Lampard we were top of the table after beating Leeds United, and then after that we lost to Everton, we lost to Wolves, we lost. I don't want that to happen under Thomas Tuchel. Thomas Tuchel is a great manager, but if we keep on doing like this, if the stats keep on declining, then he will be sacked, and I don't want that to happen. I really don't want that to happen. So I'm hoping that this Saturday against Southampton in the final third we are better. We need to do better, and hopefully one person can feed the ball to Lukaku so that he can score. Because even though Lukaku had the 2 chances, that all came in the 82nd minute. That all came. No one was crossing the ball, nothing, no passes whatsoever. It was just back pass after back pass. I don't want that. Whenever we start a counter attack, pass the ball to Lukaku, and then he can show you that this is how you score. If he's inside the box, cross the ball to him so that he can head it in the back of the net. Sometimes he can score, sometimes he will miss. But that's the only positive thing I will take from there. But after this game yesterday, I cannot be positive whatsoever. It was absolutely disgrace to lose it to Juventus in Turin again. After 9 years ago, we lost to them 3-0, and that's how we got into the Europa League. It was embarrassing, absolutely embarrassing. And Thomas Tuchel, I think he got it wrong again today. I think he got it wrong. I believe that Thiago Silva should have started. Um, Perhaps Ben Chilwell should have started and Timo Werner should have started. Even though Timo Werner came on, it was average. I thought he should have started. It was absolutely embarrassing. I was so angry and so disappointed about how Chelsea lost to Juventus. Juventus was poor in all the game, but that's their tactic. To be poor, to score a goal, defend really well, and win and get the 3 points. And that's exactly what happened. I think from now on, Thomas Tuchel needs to change his formation and get Chelsea back uh, to scoring goals and winning the game. Because the more we keep on doing this, the more that Chelsea could be in serious trouble, and I don't want that to happen. So yeah, that is my little preview of yesterday's bad defeat against Juventus, and hopefully the game against Southampton, 3 point clean sheet, and we move on. That's what I'm hoping for, because if we play like that against Southampton, deep trouble. We're in serious trouble. So yeah, really disappointing. But yes, guys, that is it. That is my penny predictions on match day 6 and Chelsea vs Man City preview. So if you enjoyed the two part series today, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new, share this to everybody that you know, and don't forget to hit the bell notifications as well. And also stay tuned, because the next video which I'll be releasing today is going to be the Chelsea first, the Premier League predictions on match day 7. And also tomorrow I'll be doing the Chelsea versus Southampton preview. Sorry about that, guys. My neck is really there's something inside my neck which I will fix. So yeah. But anyway, and I'm looking forward to the live watch along, and hopefully Chelsea can play better than this against Southampton. When in the final third, when we get chances, we score. That's what I want from the game against Southampton on Saturday. And also on Sunday, I'll be doing the Man City versus Liverpool live watch along, because that's a big game. That's a big game. So make sure you stay tuned for that one. But thank you guys so much for watching. Bad defeat, but we move on into Saturday against Southampton. Hopefully a better result, a positive result, 3 points, move on. So yes, thank you guys so much for watching. Look after yourselves, take care, and as always, up the Chelsea.